So while we wait for everybody to join in, I'm just going to play a little bit of sound and hopefully it comes through the system okay. And if you want to drop straight in, you can. If you're still setting your space up, please do. Eliminating any distractions and just being in the space. Just coming into the space, just find a comfortable seated position, just closing the eyes. Just feathering your nest. And grabbing perhaps something to elevate the hips on. And then just landing in this comfortable seat. And just listening to the sound of the singing bowls. Just dropping into your day, dropping into this evening after your day. Welcome, beautiful beings. Happy Tuesday. My name is Eva. Lovely to see you all. I'm not sure who's there. Hope you guys can all hear me okay. And we are coming into a seat if you did just join. Just elevating the hips if you need, crossing one leg in front of the other, and just simply landing here on the earth this evening. Take some sounds and some sighs through the mouth as you exhale the breath, just to land. And then close the eyes if you haven't closed them already. And then just allow your shoulders just to slowly lift up, back and down. So you're just creating some circles with your shoulders. Just noticing the connection points to the earth through your sits bones as you really feel the shoulder girdle, really opening up through that area of the body, the chest, shoulders. You might notice that you're spending more time than normal sitting and maybe leaning into that slouch position. So just really notice the shoulders. And then just allow them to eventually soften back and down. And just be still here as you observe your breath moving in through both nostrils. And just softly and gently out through both nostrils. Really paying attention to the next 3 breaths in particular. Generally takes about 3 rounds just to really drop in. Just focus on the inflow and the outflow. And see if you can keep your attention with each part of your breath. You'll complete 3 rounds, but you will continue breathing and being aware that you are breathing. And as you breathe, begin to lengthen a little more through the crown of the head. So just really creating this long spine, just feeling the energy flowing from the base into the crown. So just feeling this beautiful silk thread moving through you. Soft and elegant and gentle. As if the breath is just massaging the body internally. Just allow your jaw to soften as well. Just pay attention if you are clenching that area. Soft teeth, parted, soft tongue. And they're just observing what's present for you today. So here we are 8 days into spring. We have noticed a beautiful shift. Warmth in the air, the beautiful scent, perhaps as you head out for a walk, catching all the beautiful smells of the flowers. Just watching how everything begins to grow. Watching those leaves on the trees each day, just more and more growth, blossoming. And sensing that within us as well. Sensing that each day we feel perhaps a little bit more radiant, a little bit more clear in our direction. Even though we are experiencing what we're experiencing, what we can control is our inner state. Can't control what's going on out there, but rather than fighting against and holding on to that anger, we just simply surrender. That concept of Ishvari Pranidhanam. Surrendering to that higher essence, whatever that energy that you call, label, whatever it is, we might call God. Just let go of the label, but just feel it as an energy. And the energy that's flowing in the atmosphere, in our planet, in our universe as the planets shift and move. There might be an intention, a sankalpa, that you might wish to set this evening. It might be for your practice, just to be grounded, present. You might extend that intention out to someone or something. It might even just be an affirmation or a prayer. So just trust what comes naturally to you in this moment. Just breathe that intention into you. Feel it moving through every cell of your body. And then gently bring the palms together at the center of your chest, just honoring yourself for being here this evening, for giving yourself this gift to be with you, your body, to nourish your soul. And let's keep the eyes closed, but just circle the arms out wide and up. So it's just a big circling action. So just match the movement and the breath as you inhale, arms reach. And then as you exhale, just bring them down towards the earth, a big circle of the arms. And then just doing that again, breathing in, just notice that soft, gentle movement of the arms as they reach out wide and up. Really lengthen through the fingertips, zip the belly in. Then wait for the exhalation as you send that energy out and down. And then let's just do that one more, breathing in, reach the arms up. This time as you exhale, make some sound as you bring the hands to the heart, maybe Om. Just allow that vibration to settle, feel it moving through you. And then just lightly blink the eyes open, welcoming yourself here, namaste. And then just from here, interlock the fingers and then just press the palms forward. You can be cross-legged, I'm just kneeling. And then just reach the arms up as you breathe in. Create a little length through the spine, a little lean back. And then just keep moving a little here, moving forward, back. If the legs are crossed and you might wish to, then cross them in the opposite direction. But we're just moving the upper body, or moving the arms rather, forward, back as we kind of round and lengthen through the spine. So just take a few movements here. And then you might even create a little lateral flexion. So just start to explore the whole movement of the spine. There might even then start to be some circles. Just moving a little, just feeling the body. Maybe a little twist around to one side as you release and feel the rotation through the spine. So just notice the direction that the spine moves in. And I'd like you just to really explore that. In any way, there's no right or wrong. Really acknowledging your body. I'm just going to sit back on my mat here so we can all start to move together in a moment. And then where we will meet will be a forward fold to begin our practice today. So after you've moved through the spine, just extend your legs out, reach the arms long. If you're sitting on something, you can stay elevated or shuffle the hips back and remove anything. And then just take a nice easy forward fold over the legs. Just take a moment or two here, just bowing the forehead towards your shins. Noticing the belly, maybe the belly and thigh connection, maybe the knees are bent. And just feel the crown lengthening forward. Take a breath in. As you exhale, maybe just come a little deeper, flexing the feet. And then just take 3 more breaths using your Ujjayi breath. So inhale through both nostrils, a little lift and a length. And then your Ujjayi breath is that sound in your throat, imagining that you're fogging up a mirror. Just finding those 3 Ujjayi breaths. So feel that restriction in your throat, your glottis. And on that 3rd exhalation, just hold the breath out for a little bit. Might just be a moment or two. Just empty the breath completely. And then just very slowly when you breathe in, roll yourself up, reach your arms up. Bring the soles of your feet together, bring your hands to your ankles. Take a little length through the spine. And then as you exhale, keep a long spine, press your elbows into your knees, pull the sternum forward, keeping that flat back. And then again, as you inhale, maybe come up a little, elongate again through the spine. As you exhale, elbows press the knees open just a little, getting into the groin, the inner thighs. And again, breath in, lifts you up maybe a little. Exhale the breath out. Just explore 3 more Ujjayi breaths, just as we did in that forward fold, just on your own. Really hearing that sound as you bring focus into the mind, as you set the tone for your practice. And then again, once you've completed those 3 Ujjayi breaths, slowly releasing yourself back up. We're going to bring the soles of the feet to the earth. You might want to bring the hands to the knees. Soles of the feet to the earth. Bring your hands behind you. Turn your fingertips towards your heels or your hips. And then just press the pelvis off the earth. So you're pressing hands into the mat. Just shift a little forward and back. You might notice the wrists here. Notice that support. Maybe noticing the forearms. Just shifting forward and back. And then as you shift forward, see if you can lift your heels. You might come a little deeper. You might get nice and deep into the hands, wrists, fingers. Heel of the hands will come off the earth. Then shift back and then just see if you can come onto the heels as you lift toes. Just continue that rocking sensation forward and back. Just Real gentle, easy. Maybe gazing upwards or maybe gazing to the knees, just exploring the movement of the head real carefully. We are going to come up into a reverse tabletop. So when you're ready, you'll just keep both feet connected to the earth and then squeeze the pelvis up towards the ceiling. So squeeze through the buttocks. You want to try to get the hips in line with the knees and then really open up through the chest rather than collapse through the shoulders. Imagine that you're really wrapping those two arm bones in. Just taking a few rounds of breath here, in and out through both nostrils. You might add a little bit of a rock, a little side-to-side movement. Just notice the hands and the feet. Beautiful. And just very gently releasing the pelvis down onto the earth. I'm going to come into Navasana, boat pose. So just lift the feet. And then if you need the hands down, bring them in front of you on fingertips. If you would prefer, you can bring them behind the thighs or begin to lift them in line with your shins. Point your toes, draw your chest forward. And just notice the abdomen, the power center, our Manipura chakra. Notice that area of your body. Feel the strength or maybe the little quiver that's occurring. Maybe you start to straighten legs. I like to turn my palms up as a gesture of receptivity, being open here. Lifting the chest, inhale. And as you exhale, take it into canoe pose, so it's a little lowering here. And then as you inhale again, lift and expand. And as you exhale, take it down. Beautiful. Breath in lifts you up. Stay focused on that power center, our fire. One more breath. Exhale. Beautiful. We're going to cross the ankles. Bring the hands down onto the earth. Lift your hips. And then just step gently back into a downward facing dog. And then take all of the time that you need here. You need to drop to the knees. Come into a child's pose. That's always a nice go-to. Down dog, you'll play around, maybe pedaling out gently through your feet, heels, lifting, descending, one at a time, both together, whatever you feel. Swiveling toes to one side, heels in the other direction with a bend of the knees. Gets nice and deep into the side body, or you might feel it in a different area. Just moving freely, finding your body and your expression. And take a few more rounds of breath and down dog. Soft, gentle breaths. We are going to meet in a plank position. So whenever that happens, just let's meet there. You might want to bend the knees and come to plank. Then just pause in your plank. Press the floor away as if the belly in. Just breathing in and out here for a few breaths. Knees are there and available if needed. Try not to look behind you, but keep the neck long, crown pulls forward. So you can firm up the quadriceps a little more by drawing your knees up. Take one more breath. As you exhale, lower knees, untuck the toes, shift back into child's pose. Just taking a full round of breath here. Exhale the breath on. Let's take two more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. Exhale and let it go. We're going to rise onto the knees and the shins. So just slide the fingers to the knees as you roll up and then arms out wide. Circle them up. Just interlace the fingers at the top. Press the palms up. And then just take a little bit of a back bend. And again, just as we did when we were seated, just explore movement through the spine. You might sit back on the heels. You might come up again. Coming into a little back bend. Little lateral flexion might feel really nice in the body. And again, even those big circles. So again, just feeling that movement and momentum, feeling each and every part of the body. I've spent so much time crocheting the last, 6 months or so. And I've actually started to notice I've just been so forward folding. You might notice the same thing, you might not. It's just interesting noticing the body and how it really does change. But loving every part of us. And then from this hands and knees position, we're just going to step the right foot forward. So it's just a big step forward. Release the hands to either side of your front foot for a nice lunge. You might shift around a little side to side. You might walk the hands over to the left and fold. So just let yourself just find that lunge. And where we will meet from here is going to be on the thigh. We're going to bring one hand, then the other on the thigh. So just push yourself away. So when you're ready, just landing here in this lunge, try to create space between your belly and your thigh. And if you don't already, just bring your left hand on top of your right, so you might need to switch on over. Keep pressing your right hand into the thigh. Begin to lift the left arm up to the ceiling. Maybe a little lean back, so you open up through that abdominal wall, a little opening into the front of your left hip flexor. Keep pushing into your right thigh. And then gently release the hand behind you so you can circle it behind. You can just reach back or maybe bend the back knee, catch a hold of a foot. You might turn your fingers forward. We're all going to have different flexibility here. Keeping the hand on the thigh if that works for you. If you need to be up a little higher or more support, use a block. But just pause in here for a few breaths. A blanket underneath the knee, or you might actually have those padding little cushions for the knee. Whatever you have, I'm sure you've got your home practice all down pat right now. Breathing in and out a few breaths, really feeling down the front of your left quadricep perhaps, particularly if you've got a hold of the foot. Pressing that the belly away from that right thigh also creates a little back bend. Take 3 more Ujjayi breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose, but hearing that sound. So if you're not sure, you imagine that you're fogging up a mirror. So you create that sound, but when you do it with the mouth closed, you produce a sound, perhaps not as loud as what it would be with the mouth open. So that is your Ujjayi pranayama. Pranayama is the breath control. Slowly releasing the foot, release the hands, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and just shifting back and forward a little from our lunge to our pyramid pose. Getting into the front of that right thigh, bending, straightening. Beautiful. And then we're going to hold in a pyramid pose, shift the hips back, just fold the forehead to the shin. Press the left heel all the way to the back of your mat. Blocks on either side of your front foot might be handy under the hands. Breathing softly and gently. Hearing that Ujjayi breath. Letting that be a part of your practice. And then bring the gaze forward, bend the front knee. We're just going to walk the hands forward and just float the left foot off the earth. And just balance here for a moment. Turn the toes down. Press out through your heels, zip the belly in. Try to keep the hips symmetrical, sternum forward, hands on the floor or on your blocks. From here, we're crossing left foot behind the right. So just go ahead and cross with a little toe, outer blade of the feet edges are connected. And then just take a forward fold. And then slowly walking your hands over to the right side. Notice how that feels. That outer thigh area, iliotibial band. And then again, just a little exploration, walking around to the other side. Maybe coming through to center and then back to the first side. So just explore, feel, notice the feet, notice the knees, are they bent, are they straight? And then we'll meet back at the center position, feet are still crossed. As you rise, you're going to hold on to your left wrist with your right hand and just find a way to come up. You might reach the arms forward or you might bend the elbows to come up. Try to find balance here, reaching on up. And then just gently take a lateral flexion over to the right. And then come to center, switch hold of a wrist, take it over gently to the left. And then just take it again from one side to the other, switching wrists. As you take it to the right, you're holding the left wrist. As you come to center, you switch, grabbing hold of the right wrist with the left hand, taking it to the left. And then one more on each side, over to the right. Feet are still crossed, it might be challenging to balance. And then next time you take it to the left, hold it there. Keep the hips pressing out towards the right. And then just notice the sense of stability through your feet, your eye gaze. Keep pressing the hips towards the right, lengthen the spine and then take it over. Using that left hand to pull the wrist to the right, right palm faces in an upright position towards the ceiling. And And then as you come through center, step the feet together, press your palms together, reach up, maybe a little lean back. And then as you exhale, bring your hands to your lower back as if you're bringing them into back pocket, so fingers face down, a little bend of the knees. And then climb up through the spine, a little bend of the knees, kind of wave through the spine, hug the elbows in, opening through the throat, the heart, leaning on back. We're going to interlace the hands and take a forward fold, slowly folding gently, opening up the shoulders, folding the forehead to the shins, opening up those hamstrings. 3 breaths here, inhale. Forehead to shins, exhale, arms reach forward, keeping the heel of the hands as best you can together. Full deep breath in. Hearing that sound of your ujjayi breath. One more breath. Exhale the breath. We're going to see if we can rise with a flat back. So release the arms, reach them forward with a flat back. Rise on up, keep the arms apart and take a little lean back as you separate your arms. And then as you exhale, bring your palms together, bend your knees. If you choose, take a little fold forward, Uttanasana. Use the breath in, coming to Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, step back to a plank. Notice which foot you step back with. Try to alternate from time to time. Come forward in breath. Low plank as you exhale, knees or straight legs. Come to the belly, untuck toes. And then rise to a cobra. Use your breath in to lift you up. Use your exhalation to fold back down. And then twice more, just like that. Tops of the feet pressed, kneecaps lift, coming into cobra. Exhale as you fold. So really opening that abdominal wall, really opening up through Manipura chakra, so that fire center. Exhale. Let's just take one more round. And then breath out to the earth. Use the hands to press into the earth on your in-breath, hands and knees. Curl toes, come to plank, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 rounds of breath here. Inhale, maybe a lion's breath. Tongue to chin if you choose. Another pranayama. Prana, the breath. Pranayama to control. Or prana, life force. Let's just take one more. Really letting it go. Beautiful. Bend knees, inhale, come to plank. Let's just hold in our plank. Pause, breathe. Spread the fingers wide, pressing the floor away. Gaze is a little forward at the front of your mat, but you're not lifting the chin and cranking the back of the neck. Everything is long. Zipping the belly in, pressing the floor away from you. Heels and crown pulling opposite directions. Take one more breath. Exhale, lower knees, untuck toes, come back to child's pose. Turn the palms to face up here. Catching a hold of the breath, inhale. And exhale. Just notice your whole body softening. Soft and smooth, breathing into the back body. Heart melts on your out breath. One more breath. Exhale and let it go. Turn your palms down, roll yourself up, slide fingers to knees, then out wide and up as you breathe on in. As you exhale, sit back on the heels, bring your hands to your heart. Just take a moment here, feeling that beating of your chest. Coming back to your intention, your truth. And as you inhale, blink your eyes open. If you did close them, reaching the arms all the way up. Take a little back bend here. And as you exhale, let's bring the hands behind you, interlace them. Take a little interlock and then just move a little, maybe side to side, turning the chin. If you need support, just curl your toes on under. But just really getting into, so it is a back bend, but really focusing on that abdominal wall. I've particularly noticed, as I said, just sitting and crocheting, I've noticed that this area of my body has tightened up somewhat. So we're really just going to open, breathe and feel. And then we're going to meet with the left leg forward. So whenever you're ready, free the arms, reach them out wide, step the left foot forward, release the hands to the earth. And then just enjoy a little movement here in your lunge, getting nice and deep into your hips. Walking the hands over to the right might feel really nice. Walking them over to the other side. Again, just let your body guide you. Continue staying focused on your breath. And then where we will meet is with the left hand on top of the thigh and then the right hand on top. And we're just pressing the belly away from the thigh, depending on flexibility, we're all going to be in slightly different positions, but just really feeling the front here of your psoas, the hip flexor, really getting into that whole front line of the body, soft shoulders, soft jaw, and just ensuring that that left foot is really connecting to the earth. So we're not rolling it onto the outer blade. So just imagine a tripod under the sole of the foot, the heel, the base of the pinky toe, and the big toe mound. And then the right arm will reach up. Keep leaning back a little, noticing how that feels. Keep pressing the left thigh away with your left hand. And we're going to circle the arm forward, down and back. You can stay here or bend the knee, catch a hold of a foot, or use a strap. Pat up the knee if you need, particularly if you are if you're not as flexible. We tend to be on the kneecap. You want to be, rather than being on the patella, it's almost that top part of the thigh area, or that bottom part of the thigh, whichever way you want to look at it. So that tends to be the place we eventually want to get to. Just take a few breaths. If you're finding it's a little unstable, you can either bring a hand down or even just toggle the left foot out a little. Sometimes our stance is too close. Breathing in and out. Eventually fingers will turn forward, so you're getting a nice point through the toes as well. Elbow will face up. Just ensuring that you're breathing in and out. Even if I'm not here to remind you all the time about your Ujjayi breath, just let that be a part of your practice this evening and throughout your practice in other classes. And then a slow release of the foot, curl the toes under, lift the back knee off the earth. We're just going to shift forward and back, nice and deep into the lunge, straightening the front knee. And of course, if you need those the support, grabbing a hold of what you're using as your support if you don't have blocks. And then we are going to hold pyramid pose, which is a straight front leg. If you need to adjust the stance, by all means, go ahead and step the back foot in slightly. But we do want a relatively wide stance. And if you're finding that you're unbalanced, sometimes we stack the feet one in front of the other, more of that tightrope. That's what you want to avoid. You want to have the right foot out to the right, the left foot out to the left. That way, it keeps the hips symmetrical. Pulling the left hip back slightly, right hip forward. Take a breath in. Just fold the forehead to the shin. 2 more breaths here. Ujjayi breath. So the breath of victory, rising victoriously above our thoughts. And then just setting the blocks to the side, bend the front knee, walk the hands forward, just come into a balance or bring the blocks under your hands. So it's an internal rotation rather than an external. We want the toes to be facing down. 2 hips are symmetrical, as best you can. Try to get the heel and hip and shoulders in one line, zipping that lower belly in, pulling the sternum forward, finding that sense of stability, balance, pressing through the heel, base of the big toe mound, base of the little toe. And then we're going to cross the right foot behind the left. So the little toes are towards one another. They might not connect at all, but just that direction. Fold forward, notice what you feel. And then again, just explore walking the hands to one side for a few breaths. Noticing the feet, the hands, which foot connects more than the other, which knee bends. So rather than just move unconsciously, let it be slow, free-flowing. Breathing in and out. There might be a movement through the hips as you walk the hands. That's okay too. Or you might want to actually anchor them in place and then just zip the belly in and walk the hands. You'll get into a very different area here. So it's more that iliotibial band, the area that runs all the way down, crosses the knee. And then come back to center, pause for a moment here. Breathing in and out. And then we're going to grab a hold of the right wrist with the left hand. Try to find balance as you rise on up. And then turn the palm to face upwards. Reach on up, zip the belly in. And then just to really slowly take it over to the left. It doesn't have to be a huge move. I know it's challenging to balance in this position. And then come to center. Switch wrists. So as you take it to the right, hold on to your left wrist. And then taking that lateral flexion real slow and controlled. And just on your own, just Moving, gently switching. Keep the length through the spine and the belly zipping in. Really getting into that side body. And then we are going to meet over to the right. So next time you come to the right, holding onto your left wrist, just hold it there. So if you can press the hips more to the left, really lengthen through the crown before taking it over. So we're compressing a little through the left side of the right side of the body, lengthening through the left. But you do want to imagine that you're leaning over something, so you're coming up and out of that spine. So feel the spine in that side flexion position, feeling into the obliques. Take one more breath. And then as you come to center, bring the feet side by side, press palms, lift up, lean on that. As you exhale, interlock the opposite hand on or index finger on top, so opposite grip, and just take that little wave up through the spine, lean back a little, open the throat. And exhaling, coming forward into that fold, maybe a little bit more space here in the shoulders and hamstrings. Just breathe in stillness. And even though you're still, the breath creates movement. So just notice that involuntary movement. Maybe that sense of stability. Maybe you spread the toes even wider to support you. You might even have to adjust your feet a little bit wider. Just notice how that feels for you. Maybe if you zip the belly in, that creates a little more strength. So little movements that we sometimes forget about. 2 more breaths. Running down through the heels, base of the big toes and little toes. And we're going to come to a chair pose from here. So there's going to be a bend of the knees, freeing the arms, maybe a little brush with the fingertips along the earth. And just coming into chair with your palms facing upwards, zipping the belly in, lengthening the tailbone down. So eliminate having this kind of arch in the back and flaring out the ribs. It's kind of that kind of tilting action of the pelvis slightly. Breathing in and out. Soft shoulders, so a little bend in those elbows. Even wider arms will help you. Take a breath in and a breath out. Just take 2 more breaths. Find a focal point into your drishti. Maybe even the tip of the nose. And when you've taken 3 breaths, press palms, straighten legs, take a beautiful back bend, opening that front line of the body. And then exhaling, taking it to the earth. Find a halfway lift, breath in. So step the opposite foot back to plank and then bend the elbows low plank with your knees down or not. Come to cobra, maybe this time it's an up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here, inhale through both nostrils. Exhale, maybe time to chin, that's your lion's breath. 2 more of your own breaths, perhaps lift your heels. Exhale, clear and eliminate all of those cobwebs from winter. We enter anew. 1 more breath. And we're going to reach the right leg up to the ceiling, maybe a slight step of your left foot in. Turn your toes down, just as we did in that balance. So in a rotation, imagine the inseam of your thigh lifting up through the ceiling. Keep pressing both hands equally into the earth. Pressing the heel towards the wall behind you. But keeping that right hip pulling forward so the hips are still symmetrical. Take 1 more breath. Exhaling, lift the heel a fraction higher, look forward. As you exhale, see if you can step your right foot to your right thumb. So lifting the knee towards the chest and then maybe lightly stepping it forward. And then lower the knee to the earth, reach both arms forward and up, breath in. Come to stand on that back knee. Take a twist to your right, left elbow to the outside of the thigh. Again, pick the belly off the thigh, rotate your heart to your thumbs. Option, stay with the knee down or begin to lift the back knee. Drop your right hip down and imagine the thigh pulling back here. Keep that belly zipping in. Bring your thumbs to your heart and then rotate your heart to your thumbs and then smile. And I tend to find here if you are off the back knee and you're on the toes, just making sure that your heel is not rolling out to the right. So you're pushing the big toe mound into the earth. So the heel is pushing directly behind you. Take 1 more breath. Nice. We're going to come into a high lunge. So when you're ready, rise to a high lunge. We're not going to be here for long. We're going to turn all sets of toes towards the left and take a forward fold, grabbing a hold of your ankles if you can. Just press the sternum forward as you press into your ankles or shins. And then exhale, fold forward. We're going to do that twice more. So inhale, get a little length through the spine, like a Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Do that one more time. Inhale, lift, find a nice flat back. And then take that forward fold. So if you are holding on to those ankles, just hug the elbows in towards the shins, maybe imagining that you're going to one day wrap them towards the calves. Outer blades of the feet parallel to the short edges of your mat or slightly turned inwards. And then use the hands to pull you through. And some of us are quite open. So if your head naturally comes down, shorten your stance. And just keep pulling yourself through more and more and more. Shifting the weight maybe a little forward back, spreading the toes, and just notice how it feels just to shift the weight a little side to side, forward back. Sometimes those tiny little micro movements make a world of difference. And then find a place you'd like to pause for your 3 Ujjayi breaths. In through the nose and out through the nose. Creating that sound in your glottis or throat. Once you've completed your 3 breaths, wing the arms out wide, rise up with a flat back. So warrior 2 is a turning of the right toes forward and then bend the front knee. If you need to adjust the stance, heel toe your back foot away. And then just surf out your warrior here for a moment. Bend and straighten, notice how that feels. And then pause in your warrior 2. Again, just ensuring that those lower floating ribs are knitting in and the tailbone lengthens down, soft shoulders, soft jaw. And just avoid gripping the floor with your toes. So maybe lift your front toes, press through the heel, center of the heel, base of the big toe, little toe. And then if the toes are lifted, bring them down. And now lift your heel, see how that feels. Lift the arch of your back foot, press the outer blade of your back foot into the earth. Take one more breath. And then lower the heel. We're going to come back to a high lunge, swivel back onto the ball of the back foot. You might need to adjust that stance a little. As you exhale, bring the hands down to the earth. Float that left foot off the earth, just as we did before. Pull the sternum forward. Exhale, fold the forehead to the shin. Do that twice more, lengthen forward, inhale. As you bring the forehead to the shin, maybe that left leg lifts a little higher. And again, inhale, sternum forward. We're going to hold a standing split. So you might, in your standing split, it might be more the heel in line with the hip, just where we were before. You might walk your hands back towards your foot and then bring your forehead to your shin. Some of you might bring your right hand behind your ankle and imagine that you want to wrap your forearm around the back of the calf, balancing on the left fingertips. Some of you might even balance by bringing the left hand also behind the ankle. I have absolutely no stability in this leg. I have had a glute injury for many, many years from years of hiking and running. So we just work with what we have. So just notice your body, lovingly breathe 3 more breaths. Your variation is perfect, just as it is. When you complete your 3 rounds of breath, just bring the hands under shoulders, lengthen the chest forward, inhale. Cross the left foot behind right, exhale, fold. As you rise, grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand, reach on up. As you exhale, gently take it over to the right. As you inhale, come center, switch wrists. Exhale, over to the left. Hold it here for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale for 1 or 2. And for 3. As you inhale, step feet together, press palms, lift up, lean on back. Exhale, fold forward, hands can come through the center or they can wing out wide, whatever you choose. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, low plank. So step or jump back. If you're jumping, land with elbows bent. If you're stepping, use the same breath to bring you to your low plank, and then exhaling, down dog. So you move through the flow. I know you guys know. 3 breaths here, child's pose or down dog. Whatever you need. Notice the heat building in your body, the tapas, the fire that burns away any impurities. 1 more breath. And then left heel is going to lift, maybe a slight step of the right foot in. Feel that support. And then just pause here. Nowhere to go.
Just be here now, spreading fingers, pressing through each of the finger pads and heel of the hands. Heel in line with hips. Don't worry about lifting that leg and opening the hip, but it's that inner rotation. Belly zips in. Imagine that you're lifting from the inseam of the thigh. Notice if you're favoring one hand over the other. Try to press both hands equally. And even though we're pressing back through the heel, keep the hips symmetrical. So you want to kind of pull the femur bone back into the pelvis as you press the heel away. Take one more breath. As you exhale, draw the knee into the chest, lift the shin high. You dome through the upper back to get that lift, and then maybe it's a quiet step towards the thumb, or you grab the ankle, guide it forward, drop to the knee, reach the arms all the way up. Come to stand on that back knee, press the palms together, find the length first. Rotate towards the left, right elbow, left thigh. And then rather than just hang out here, it's a strong zipping in of the abdomen, and then you use the elbow to push you around a little. And then rotating your heart to your thumbs, bringing your thumbs to your heart to get a little more height. Keep the top shoulder pulling back as well, rather than it pulling to the ear. Stay or lift your back knee. Drop the left hip, pull the thigh towards the wall behind you. And then your right heel, ensuring that it's pressing directly back and not rolling out to the right. 3 more breaths. Inhale. Calm as you exhale for 1. Soft and gentle for 2. 1 more breath. For 3. High lunges where we meet. Rise on up on your in-breath. Turn all 10 toes over to the right. Bring your hands behind you, interlace your preferred grip. And then rise up, climb up through the spine. Feel the thighs moving, pelvis moving forward. And then use your exhalation to come forward. Keeping those toes slightly pigeon-toed or heels parallel to the short edges of your mat. And again, make the adjustment with your feet. If it's too strong on the shoulders, just release your hands to your lower back. Just settling here. Imagining your 2 inner ankles, inner thighs, zipping into the midline. So it's that sucking in sensation rather than that split sensation. So there's energy drawing you in. So Mula Bandha is that base root lock. So it's that energy moving up through that central channel. And then just settle here for 3 more breaths. Soft and gentle Ujjayi breath. And then you'll slowly rise on up with a flat back, freeing the arms out wide as you come up. And then we meet in Warrior 2, left toes forward, make the adjustment if you need, and then just surf it out a little. And then just notice as you bend the front knee, it is in line with your ankle and second toe. So if we are quite tight in the inner thigh, sometimes the knee wants to roll in. Just be conscious that we're wanting to externally rotate and bringing the toe knee to the little toe side. There is a slight inner rotation of the hip. That's just natural. That's just how the body is. But we want to lift the arch of the foot so we're not bending and lifting the outer blade of the foot. So there's that energy lifting you. Arms are parallel but soft. So there's not that strain or that hyperextension. Palms facing up is always a nice suggestion in your warrior. Find where you need to be. Avoid this lean forward as well. Keep shoulders in line with hips with a zipping in of the abdomen and a lengthening of the tailbone down. The drishti normally in Virabhadrasana 2 is your middle front finger, and your drishti is your focal point, gazing beyond that middle finger for 3 of your own Ujjayi breaths. Find the stability, lift the toes. And then we are going to lift the heel. I almost forgot that one. Let's lift the heel because we did on the other side. Just feel that strength, that beautiful warrior strength. And then lower, we're going to come to high lunge, so you might need to adjust the foot. Come back to high lunge, release the hands, and then float the right foot off the mat. Folding forehead to the, we'll lengthen forward first. Now we'll fold forward. All right, so standing split doesn't necessarily mean that leg has to resemble anything like a split. So when you do come to a balance, sometimes keeping the heel in line with the hip and actually pushing the heel away from you gives you more stability. I can balance on this side. So more stability to actually grab behind the ankle, one hand and then the other. Sometimes when we lift, we kind of don't really have that support. So find your variation here of your standing split, and don't let the name deter you either. So left hand wraps first, forearm wraps around the calf, maybe come onto the fingertips, maybe that left hand also wraps around. Be stable, be steady with your breath for 3 more rounds. And just walk the hands forward, lengthen the spine forward, crossing right foot behind the left, forward fold. Beautiful. Grabbing a hold of your left wrist with your right hand, rise on up. Find stability first, and then gently take it over to the right. And then come to center, switch your wrist, take it over to the left. Back to center. And we're going to hold it to the right. Press the hips to the left. Try to lengthen through the spine. Just keep leaning, breathing, really expanding that side body. And then come to center, feet together. Inhale, take a little back bend. And then take a swan dive to the earth. Separate your feet. Grab a hold of elbows or wrists and just enjoy a ragdoll. A little movement or stillness. And then nice to rock. Just let the head be heavy. Maybe even just flop the arms to the floor. Breathing in and out. A nice heated practice. We're going to come into Malasana. So Malasana is that yogic squat. Adjust the feet and then bend the knees. Bring your hands to your heart. Draw the heart to the thumbs. Press the knees open. In and out through both nostrils. So lengthening in opposite directions. Just take 5 breaths here. Press your palms together. Feel the connection of the fingertips and heel of the hands. And then see if you can press your knees into your elbows. So rather than just use the elbows to push the knees away, use the knees to also push into the triceps. So energy coming from both directions for those 5 breaths. So that is that essence of sthira and sukham, the balance between the effort and the ease. So we're not just hanging, but we're also pushing. So you'll notice instantly there's that energy through the spine, shooting out in both directions, coming into the center of the chest. So you're counting your 5 breaths, and eventually we're going to come to the earth. So you might roll yourself there. You might roll a few times, controlling the descent. Maybe 3 rolls is always nice. I'm just coming to one final Navasana, since we're bringing fire into the belly. Breathing into that Navasana. Soft, gentle breath, straight legs maybe, bent knees, hands to the floor. Just bring that smile through the center of the chest. Feel that fire burning away. Any impurities, anything that we don't need from the winter blues. Just feeling this blossoming occurring from your heart, from your belly, from that Hara center. Take one more breath. Beautiful. Hug the knees into the chest. Just to see if you can just find a basket pose. So it's just maybe toes lifted or touching the earth. You might wrap around the shins. You might just hold knees. Try to pull the belly and the thighs away from one another. So you're quite literally rounding through the spine. Keep the belly zipping in, compressing through the throat chakra. A little stimulation there. And then when you're ready, release feet to the earth. Release the hands forward and just roll yourself with control in that rounding position to the floor. Just let the arms just settle out wide for a moment. Just let the spine settle. We'll just be taking it into a bridge just to finish off with opening up one final time through that front line of the body. So bridge pose, stepping the heels towards your glutes, buttocks, reach the fingers to your heels, keep walking the shoulders down your back. So feet are hip distance apart, lift your toes, spread them wide, and then place them back down. Feet are parallel. On an inhalation, press palms as you lift the hips off the earth. Maybe walk the shoulders further underneath you, perhaps even an interlock of the hands. You can always just use the support of a block if you prefer. Keep breathing in and out. Soft and gentle. And let's bring the chin off the chest. And then let's see if you can bring chest to chin a little bit more. Imagine that you're squeezing a block between your thighs so the knees aren't rolling outwards, pressing the feet equally into the earth. One more breath. Release the hands, slowly lowering down. And just make the adjustment so you can get the shoulders back into a comfortable position. And then my suggestion is one more back bend of your choice. So you can come into exactly what we did for 5 breaths. If you prefer just hips, even extending the legs, opens up that whole front line of the body. Or if you're feeling it, release the hands behind you and coming into perhaps your full wheel pose. Your fingers come to your shoulders, your elbows hug in, walk the feet in. Maybe it's just a lift at the hips, or maybe you're able just to press feet, hands, and head off the earth. So 5 breaths wherever you feel comfortable. See if you can commit to those 5 breaths, knowing that whatever we're feeling is temporary, nothing lasts forever. And even this current experience that we're going through, which we're all, I'm sure, quite used to now and have perhaps adjusted quite nicely. If you're in a full wheel, chest presses towards the wall behind you, maybe straight legs. So really opening that front line of the body, getting us in preparation for opening up into spring and summer. Come down slowly and gently. Allow the spine to release, particularly if you've been in that full wheel pose. Now we're just going to complete our practice with a happy baby. Extend the legs, release them to the sky. Grab ankles or the outer blades of the feet. Bend the knees towards your armpits. Try not to lift the hips off the floor, but press tailbone down so you're pressing the whole spine nice and flat into the earth. And then pull down with your hands and up with your feet simultaneously. So again, just as we did in Balasana, we had that energy moving in both directions. Same here. Down with the hands and up with the feet. Keep that lower back pressing. Keep the chin pulling into the chest so the spine is completely neutral. Soft and gentle. Let's just find stillness. I know we like to move in our happy baby. We'll move in a moment. One more breath. And full permission to complete your practice in any way, whether that be rocking side to side, whether you're craving lifting the hips off the earth for a plow or a shoulder stand, whether you're taking a twist, or whether you're taking a combination of all of these. But you're tuning into your inner self. What does it need? And then whenever you're ready to land, Shavasana. So extending the legs long. I always tend to end up forward of my mat for some reason. When you're ready to land, just really focus on that front channel. So you might notice, if you are noticing a little dullness or a dull ache in the lower back, pop a bend in the knees, bring the feet wide and let the knees knock in together. So when we do a little bit of back bending work, sometimes you'll notice that. And then turn the palms up. If you're coming into extended legs, bring the legs wide, maybe even widen more, as a sense of really letting go. And then just come back to your breath. And then just follow your breath in through both nostrils. And then follow your breath out through both nostrils. And then once you've brought that awareness just to the
the breath at the nostrils. Count in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you're breathing in for 4, exhaling for 6. So keep the exhalation just a little bit longer than your in-breath, even if that count just doesn't work for you. Just a slightly longer exhalation just to ground you down. Soft shoulders, soft jaw, soft behind your eyes. Eyelids are softly closed, no strain in your face. Just feel the back of the head pressing even deeper into the earth. Feeling the skull, the brain, the heavy head, the weight. The neck releases. Shoulders drop even deeper. Arms are extended. Perhaps they feel like they're melting through the earth. And as you breathe, your belly rises and falls. Your chest expands, contracts. Your pelvis softens. You feel the energy flowing down through your legs, into your feet, your heels, your toes. And then you sense your whole body. You give thanks to your body, this vessel that houses your soul. This joyous gift of being alive, even if we feel the changes in our body from time to time as seasons change. Time is now to flourish. It's like the changing of the seasons, the flowers that we see beginning to blossom. We notice that in us instantly, that sense of, everything starts to feel lighter. Feel that lightness inside of you. Be that lightness. Embody it. Feel the joy in each movement. The joy of each breath. The joy of sensing your beating heart. The vibration that that heartbeat creates, not just in our body, but the vibration of all heartbeats as one. This pulse. And everything in the universe vibrates. You might be familiar with the Schumann's resonance, which is the resonance or vibration of the earth. And it might be something you might want to look up. It's just a vibration. There's a lot of meditations with the Schumann's resonance. It's the sound that the earth vibrates at. And there has been a flat line in that resonance last week. I'm not sure if it's still continuing, but it's almost like this recalibration. It's almost like this stop in order for something else to occur. And so I've definitely sensed that everything does for me anyway feel so much lighter. Whatever we put it down to, it doesn't matter. Take 5 more breaths. Just start to gently stir, to move, to stretch, to yawn. Take a little side to side movement as well. We really got into that side body. Just feel your whole body as you stir around on the earth. You can stretch the legs, point and flex toes. Even interlacing the hands behind you and creating as much length as you can between the hands and feet. And then just bend your knees, release your hands, and just roll over onto your right side. So you're just resting your right ear on your left bicep, bringing the left hand just in front of you. Curl into a little fetal position. Maybe shuffle the hips to the left and just let yourself be in this safety net. Coming back to your intention. Just feeling that inner joy, a lightness, playfulness that's in the air. And then press yourself gently when you're ready into the earth with a smile on your lips as you come to your seated position, as you come into that sense of being that little seedling starting to flourish into this beautiful new adventure. And then hands together at the center of the chest as we honor the light within us, as we recognize the divinity of this existence, that we aren't just bodies or minds, but there's something greater that occupies this physical form. And we know that we leave this body behind eventually. It's a 100% chance that we're going to leave this body. We just don't know when. So it's really important to make the most of the time that we have here. So thank you, beautiful yogis, yoginis. Namaste. Blessings. Have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. Well, so much love. I'll see you hopefully next week if you're joining. Or you might be staying vegan. So take your time coming out. I'll be hanging around, so just log off whenever you feel to, or you can definitely put your microphones on and say namaste or a word if you're feeling called to, just whatever you're experiencing. Sometimes I know when we come together we see each other. We tend to see familiar faces and we get to see expressions. I know it can be a little bit challenging at times when we don't see the expressions of people. You haven't done yoga for a while. Oh, well done, Karen. Nice. Beautiful. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Linda. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thanks, Karen.